happening, everybody? So first of all, I want to thank you, Kat. Can everybody hear me all right? I want to thank you, Kat. He always lies on me, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the love. I really do. First of all, I want everybody to check in with their bodies right now. How are you feeling? Are you feeling tense? Right? Do you have any tension going on? So what we're going to do is, most of the time, we don't even pay attention to the emotional stress that we're holding in our bodies. So every once in a while, if you're ever feeling stressed out, it's good to take long, deep breaths. Right? Long, deep breaths will set you back into a state of balance, homeostasis. So usually when we stress out, our breathing starts to shorten. We start to breathe, labored breathing, and it'll send us into an anxiety attack. That's what happens. That's what an anxiety attack is. We're not breathing properly. So right now together, I want everybody to take a couple of deep breaths. So in through the nose and out through the mouth. Ready? Long inhale, in through the nose, and long exhale, out through the mouth. And as you're doing this, just pay attention to the way your body is feeling. Just pay attention to the way your body is feeling. In through the nose, fill up your belly, your chest, out through the mouth. So meditation was the tool that I used to transform my life. And when I say transformation, I'm not talking about I changed. I'm talking about I became the person that I was here to be. So transformation is about dropping the old story. First of all, this Heal the Hood is not just about health and wellness. I think it's a movement of love. I'm the love guy. Love is undefeated in these streets. People try to say love is a soft thing. Love is not a soft thing. Love is the most powerful universe, the most powerful force in the universe. That's essentially what we are. So I always ask my clients, the first thing I ask them, who are you? Anybody ever figured that out yet? Who are you? Does anybody know who they are? That's $1 million question. Who are you? Think about that. What's going through your head right now? Probably your name, probably your race, probably your religion, your occupation. None of that is you. None of that is your story. See, we have to understand the reason why we do the things we do is because from birth to 7 years old, a story was created for us. And from that story, we move that way. That's why we continue to repeat the cycles of our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors. That's why we have the same diet as our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors. That's why we have the same belief systems. We are a story until we realize that we're a story. We are programmed until we realize we're a program. And that's why we do the things we do. So for me, I had the story of poverty. I had the story of alcoholism. I had the story of violence. I had the story of not being good enough. And I carried this story with me throughout my adult years. And what people don't understand is people think illness just comes from the diet that you do. Yeah, the people think the illness comes just from your diet. And it doesn't. People don't realize our emotional state, our emotions, the emotions that we suppress and repress within our bodies, we're nothing but energy. So when we carry these low vibrational emotions, it can get us sick. Who has ever got stressed out and got sick from being stressed out? Right? That's your emotional state that's causing a physical reaction to you. So I got another question for you guys. Who loves yourself? How many of you love yourself? Now, I got another question. Does your diet reflect self-love? Does your diet reflect self-love? Do your relationships reflect self-love? How about your exercise program? Does that reflect self-love? Anybody holding on to guilt and shame? See, these are all the things that we need to work on to cultivate self-love. I didn't know how to love myself till I was in my 40s. I'm just about to be 51 years old. I didn't know how to do it. I was living that story. And that story to us becomes reality. So with that story, there's limits. We have to understand that we are limitless. So I'm gonna tell you a little backstory about myself. Hit my late 30s. I was selling drugs. I was an alcoholic. I never thought I was gonna be an alcoholic, but it ended up that way. My dad was an alcoholic. I always said I was never gonna be like my father, and I ended up being like my father. This was the story. So it got to a point, it was so bad that I started having bleeding issues. I'm 30-something years old. I'm already depressed. I'm already anxious. So now it's either I check in or I check out. This is where I'm at right now. So either I'm gonna die, no doubt about it. And when I'm saying bleeding issues, I'm talking about real bleeding issues. I didn't know what to do because my story was religion. I ran from that because it was fear-based. My story was, this is all I can do with my life, right? This is it. These are the options for someone that looks like me and came from my background. This is what it is. I'm a welfare kid. This is what it is. If I want to make some money, I got to do it illegally. That's my story. So what happens is when you play the story out, you're not aligned with what you came here to do. And it causes anxiety. It causes an inner conflict. And with that inner conflict, a lot of times we picked up addictive behaviors not to deal with that inner conflict. And this is why when people get older living the same story, they feel like they can't get out of alcohol, drugs. The most abused drug in the world is food. See, it doesn't have a negative connotation like the rest of them, but it's the most abused drug on the planet. People eat to comfort themselves. They don't eat for nutrients, right? So I'm to this place now where I'm killing myself. At this time, I got 5 kids already. I'm not being the best father. I'm not being the best brother. I'm not being the best son. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. I feel like I have no purpose. What do? I had to force a stop on my drinking because I decided to live one night after a party. I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to stop. So how do I do that? How does that look? I didn't know what to do. I felt anxious. I was still chain smoking Newports. I didn't know what to do. So I said, let me try meditation. Now, I didn't know what it was going to do for me. I just looked it up and it basically said, sit your butt down and see what comes up. It's basically what I remember reading. This was about 12 years ago. So I didn't know what to do. So I sat down and I started meditating. And it was hard at first because I was an alcoholic. Even after my bleeding started, I couldn't stop for a while. And I continued to have these issues. Most of us, now listen to what I'm saying. Most of us do not live in the present moment throughout our day. There's only one moment. Every moment is a new moment and it's here and it's gone just like that. The only thing that actually exists is this present moment right now, and it's gone before you even know it's here. But most of us are living in the past or we're projecting in the future. And most of our past is regret, and most of our projections are something that's fearful. The what ifs. We're not living. We're just existing. Living is being here, being now. Just like right now, we are right now living. If you're listening to what I'm saying right now. But most of the time when you're by yourself, your mind is everywhere. So what happened with meditation is it made me start to deal with what I was suppressing and repressing. Now, suppressed emotions, those are emotions that you know the things that you need to deal with and you just keep putting them down. Repressed emotions, these are emotions that maybe something happened to you so terrible you don't even remember them, but they're there. So what meditation did is it started to bring up all this stuff. It started to purge these emotions, and it was very hard. And a lot of times people, I can't meditate, my mind's too busy. Well, your mind's always that busy. You just always distract yourself with something else, right? TV, phone, drinking. Whenever I felt uncomfortable, I just drank. It made me feel okay. I had a false sense of presence when I was drinking. Right, so I started to heal. I didn't know what was happening, but I started to heal. I started to heal. These things started to come. It's just sitting in the present, sitting with yourself right now, experiencing the present moment as it is. That's all it is. That's it. You are connecting. When you meditate, you are connecting, and I don't care what you call it, source, the universe, God, whatever it is, you're connecting to your higher self at that moment. And when you start to heal and you start to clean the stuff out of you, and that story starts to disappear, you start to realize you're way more than that story. Right? Anybody that connects to an identity, like blackness, like gayness, like whatever it is, when you connect to the identity, you're giving yourself limits, and we are limitless. You have to understand this. So over the years, what happened with me with meditation is the old story started to go away, and I was able to start to create a new story. In this new story, everything was different. In this new story, it was a plant-based diet. I never even knew what a vegan was. So this is what happened. Year after year of sitting, I'm at a restaurant and I'm eating a vegetarian omelet. I was down in Jacqueline Square. No meat sounded good to me. So the person I was with said, "Are you a vegetarian?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a vegetarian." Didn't know why I said it, but I knew it was the truth. I knew I wasn't going to eat meat anymore. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I said it. So I looked it up, and it had to do with meditation. I was connecting to life, all life, and I didn't want to do any harm. So when you start making that connection to all life, first of all, you're going to start looking at people that you look down upon as your brothers and your sisters. You're going to want to start helping. You're going to want to start doing things like this. Your whole life becomes of service. You start to love and connect with yourself. So this is when I started to love myself. And when I started to love myself, then I started to do things that reflected that love. I seen homeless people, I just wanted to help them. I seen drug addicts. It's like I seen me in that homeless person. I see me in that drug addict. I see me in that genius. I'm in every one of you. We're all one. When you realize that we're all one, you don't look at people the same way. You want to uplift even the people that might, this is a hard one, even the people that might hate you for the color of your skin. You got to know they're living a story. It's not really who they are. If we all turned into children right now, without the stories, we wouldn't have no issues. It's the story that's the issue. It's not the person, right? Don't they say that somewhere in the Bible? You know, judge the sin, not the sinner. It's the story. We all have our stories. Who are you? That's the question. Who are you? Does everybody know who they are? The way you can figure out who you are is to be with yourself. You have to be with yourself. You can start out 5 minutes, 3 minutes, however long you want to do it, but you have to spend time with yourself. You have to see what comes up. You have to see what needs healing. You have to see what emotions need to be dealt with. This is emotions that aren't dealt with. This is anxiety. This is depression, right? And from having this anxiety and depression, now you want to self-medicate. It all is about healing. And I'm so glad that they have Heal the Hood on here, because that's what it's about. Finding out who you really are and healing. Once you heal people, hurt people, hurt people. So I know you've been listening to people all day, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I just wanted to say love is undefeated and will always be undefeated, and that's who you are. Thank you for your time.